The word cenote comes from the Mayan word zonot or dzonot, that means deposit of water or cave with water. And for Mayan people, was very special places. Of course, you know, you have fresh water from the rain there. It's like access to water in the jungle. It's always gonna be important. Of course, for wildlife and plants that live around it, it's main source of life. And for Mayan people, it used to be a special place, a ceremony spot, and there's many legends about that. All of this area is limestone. So all this area has a lot of underground rivers flowing. And being limestone, when the ice age happened, the last ice age, the water levels dropped. So you had these rivers, and the limestone eventually collapsed because there was jungle growing on top of it. And then after the rain, the acidic rain mixed with the salinity and organic material started to eat down the limestone, creating these formations that now are filled up with water. And now we're lucky we can dive in them. But actually many cenotes and caves used to be 100% empty. That's why they've been discovering giant sloths, like all these remainings inside of them. Since cenote water has more calcium than normal, it actually helps to preserve the remainings, like bone structures, pigments, even skulls, and things that people keep finding in cenotes. So we're lucky to be able to study them, and they are very well preserved in cenote waters. There are more than 8,000. The count is like huge, and they all vary in depth, in size, in width, and some of them are 5 meters, some of them are 130, and some of them are connected with a big system through long underground caves, and some of them are shallow with lilies and gardens, and they're just so magical, and they offer such a big diversity that it's so unique. Many unique places in the world that I've been, those are definitely some of the most special ones. Since cenotes vary a lot in location, some of them are closer to the sea, some of them are more deeper in the peninsula. They also vary in characteristics. Some are fed from top, some are being fed from under. But one thing that varies quite a lot is the wildlife and the vegetation around them. So the Yucatan Peninsula and the Mayan jungle there is normally very hard limestone. So the vegetation there grows and develops strong roots so it can feed on the ground that is under the limestone. So they have strong roots and spending all their energy feeding on that. And as for wildlife, you can find different kind of things, mostly mollies, berries, catfish, cenote catfish, and there's even an endemic species of eel in Yucatan. But for example, in some cenotes that are closer to the sea, you can find, like, they have access to the sea, to sea salt water, tarpons, and in some even cases manatees. And deeper in the Yucatan, it's normally more like dark catfish and nothing really to worry about. In some cases, again, in closer to the sea, you can find the Moreleti crocodile, which is a Mexican crocodile, that's what it's called. And you know, it's a perfect growing up area where they can find small birds, small fish, they can develop. Eventually, if they grow bigger, you're gonna have to move out to find bigger food, right? So if you're lucky, you can get to see them. One of the most important topics in my point of view is the access and the tourism around cenotes at the moment. They're becoming so famous, we all want to go and dive there, and we should all do it, but let's do it properly. How we can do that? So let's understand a little bit how cenotes work. They are not like a national park, or they are not owned by the government. They can be owned by a whoever owns that land, like if technically speaking I buy a piece of land and there's a cenote, I have the access to the cenote. So of course cenote owners, they follow regulations according to government regarding divers and accesses, and they have their own fees, schedules, rules, days off, and all kind of things. That's why it's so important whenever you go and dive them, go with a local guide. They know exactly where to take you. You're gonna enjoy the experience. The most important, anyway, you could not access them without a local guide, and the ones that you can access without them are not really like the free diving main beautiful spots that you actually want to see. So I highly recommend you to follow the rules, go with a local guide, and just enjoy. That's just the way to do it, okay? Because that way we're respecting the locals, we're respecting the owners, we're respecting the Mayan jungle, and we have to follow a lot of the regulations that maybe we didn't even think about. For example, the chemistry of the water is going to be affected if you use sunblock, or if you use your soap to put on your freediving suit. And all these kinds of things, they are so important, and of course your local guide is going to be able to help you follow through them. As for the general area, I would totally recommend you to fly into Cancun. These are like, it's not only like, well, there are other airports being built at the moment there, but since this one has been operating internationally for a long time, it has a lot of routes from Europe, from all kinds of places. So definitely it's just easy. Flying there, then making a move. There's different towns and cities you can stay. Since cenotes are so spread in the area, you can spend a few days or weeks, I don't know, depending on the visit, on Tulum. Some of them in Playa del Carmen, some of the days in Mérida. And you're definitely going to be able to find a local guide that knows the local accesses, that can definitely take you with respecting the correct protocols. And there's just so many to see and enjoy. Okay, so I would definitely recommend that, spending some time in different towns and exploring the surrounding cenotes, because some cenotes can be 5-6 hours away from other cenotes, so it's quite a big area. So that would be my recommendation. Cenotes are getting so famous, people really want to go and dive in them, and you should. You should definitely come, find a local instructor, and make the most out of it. They're just so unique for underwater photography, they're just so unique for training, for competitions. It's fresh water, there's no traffic, there's just no boats, it's just amazing. So normally I'm there only on the winters. I offer courses, workshops, training, underwater photography tours, all kinds of things. But also whenever I'm not there, there's some local guides that are all year round, and they can definitely guide you. Contact me if you want some more details on that. And yeah, thank you Alchemy for the never-ending support. Thank you to the freediving community. I hope you get to know cenotes, you get to explore them in the right way, and hope to see you underwater. Much love from Mexico. Bye bye.